on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Black Financial Podcast. I am your host, Lawrence Watkins. I am the President and Chief Operating Officer of the Black Business School. And today we have a very special guest. We're here with Drake Reed. Drake is the President of Sankofa Global Exchange. And Sankofa Global Exchange is a genealogy company for people of African descent who are affected by the transatlantic slave trade. You can find out more about his company at sankofaglobalexchange.com. That's sankofaglobalexchange.com, and that will be in the description. And I will also drop it into chat as well. So, Drake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing excellent, man. So, can you tell the audience a little bit about what is Sankofa Global Exchange and how have you gotten to this point of your career actually running this company?
All right, let me answer the first one first. So Sankofa Global Exchange is, like you mentioned, a genealogy company for people affected by the transatlantic slave trade. It doesn't matter if you're from North America, South America, or the Caribbean. We service all those people. And Sankofa literally means to go back and acquire. And what we're going back to acquire is the information and the knowledge that was deprived from us through the transatlantic slave trade. So global, I mean, we're a global people, and exchange is the reciprocal nature of our ancestors. So that's the what Sankofa Global Exchange means. What was
Got
your
it. And
second
how?
question?
Yeah, the second question is, what was your story leading you up to this point of actually owning this company?
Well, before I go into that story, I would like to first of all thank my ancestors personally for allowing me to be here and to start this company. But the how I got started into this was it really came out of nowhere. I've been playing professional basketball for 11 years overseas and on every continent in Europe, Asia, Africa, South America. And everywhere I went, I would meet a lot of brothers and sisters that were from the continent or their parents or grandparents were from the continent. And I noticed the differences between us. And over the years, everyone kept asking me, what's your origin? What's your origin? And I just never knew. I could tell them where I was from, but I could never tell them that what village, what country, or anything like that. And I never considered it growing up in the States. And I didn't know the importance of it until I started playing in these different places and going off the court and experiencing different cultures and interacting with different people. So I eventually got into it because some of the questions that some of my teammates would ask me were just so staggering. Most of them never heard anything about slavery. One of them in particular, when I was about 23, he was 18. He said, what's this slavery thing I keep hearing about? And I was like, man, what? and I started breaking it down for him. He said, man, it sounds terrible. I never heard anything like that. And I immediately started to think about, what would my life be like if I didn't know about that? So I would get asked different questions like that from time to time. And throughout my travels and interacting with different folks, I started realizing I really need to dive into this and figure this out.
Got it. But that's a big leap, right? From playing basketball and people asking you about slavery and you not knowing your genealogy and where your people are from, that type of thing, to actually starting a full-fledged company that helps to solve this actual problem. So can you fill in that gap for me a little bit more in terms of like how did you get from playing professional basketball to owning a genealogy tracing company?
Well, it really, what I started doing when I started looking into it, of course, I took one of the DNA tests. And when I got the test results, it said we were Mandinkas. So I started looking up the Mandinkas right away and realized that the guys that were on my team actually had the same names of all of the major leaders of the tribe historically. So I started asking them, like, do you know these people? And it's like, yeah, we're descendants. How do you know? And so for all of the countries that I played in, for me to be playing on the team with guys, that had these names, it was like, man, I got to dive in. I was here for this reason. So getting into the genealogy company, it's been so beneficial, doing people's genealogy and looking into my own charts. And it really goes hand in hand. I've been doing this for years and years. I started in my mid 20s and the things that we've been able to figure out it's been incredible. The things that you can benefit from knowing your past, prior to slavery, and then all the things that but we are able to achieve. I remember being in class and they teach us about everyone else's culture and tell us everyone else how great their stuff is, and then get to us and everything is just slavery and violence and mayhem and assassinations. But once I dove into my own personal to my personal family history, all of those myths were put to the side. And now I know exactly where we're from. I know the villages on both sides of the family, and it's been a powerful experience ever since. So, but getting into the company is really about what we can do for other people, because there's millions of us that have these similar stories, and it's time for us to figure out, exactly where we're from, down to the village.
Yeah, so no, that's interesting. So, have you had the opportunity yet to visit in person any of those places in terms of where your family's from?
Uh-oh,
Oh, can you hear me? Oh, can people hear me, or am I going out, or is Drake going out? Let me know in chat if you possibly can. Uh-oh. I hope that's not my end. Let me see here. Uh-oh. Yeah, if you all can let me know. We're having some internet issues over here. Just not sure. Oh, I think it was him. And going out, but let everyone know, I've been talking with Drake Reed. Drake is the president of Sankofa Global Exchange, a genealogy company for people of African descent who are affected by the transatlantic slave trade. You can find out more about his company at sankofaglobalexchange.com. That is sankofaglobalexchange.com. All right, Drake, I think you're back now.
Yeah, yeah. You cut out down there. That's that good
I
old
don't know. I got good internet down here. They tell me you
that's that good old
froze.
South
They tell
American
me you
internet.
froze in the chat. Yeah, but no, I was asking you if have you had the opportunity to visit any, I guess, of the tribal roots
Oh
you're
man,
from?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm actually naturalized Malian now. So I found our village, I found our African name prior to slavery, and I'm naturalized as a Malian citizen. So yeah, I've been to the village, met the chiefs. I met 3 different chiefs. I met a lot of the elders, and it's been great. And that's just on the maternal side. So now that I know the other parts of my heritage, as soon as this COVID is over, I had a whole trip set up to go to so many more places. As soon as this is over, I'm gonna get back to the other places.
Gotcha. That's interesting. So, you took it, I guess, that next step and became a citizen of Mali, that type of thing, as well. Talk about, I guess, that experience in terms of how it's played in your life, going deeper and deeper in, that trip of actually visiting there.
Well, it's this. Where do I start? First of all, the mental bondage that we were under. Every sentence that I began to read about our ancestors, and not just when people mention ancestors, they speak about the totality of Africa a lot of time, or one particular region. But when you know your specific family story, it's much different. It hits you home much more. So once I started to figure out, what we were able to achieve prior to, and then all of the things that we were able to live through. What it did for me is mental bondages and things that I didn't really know was on my mind began to be released every sentence I would read. Every time someone, a chieftain or someone would give me more information, it would release me even more. So now I feel totally liberated. That's just the mental part. Spiritually, you start to realize that your ancestors, spiritual systems were not, a bunch of hocus pocus stuff and evil things. They were actually very powerful spiritual systems that were very beneficial. And now, being a citizen, there's so many more opportunities for me. My family members can now be citizens as well. And now, all the future generations, for the people who haven't even been born yet, will grow up knowing this knowledge right out the gate, and will grow up knowing who their people are, and they'll be able to identify them right away and take advantage of it as anyone else would from their origins.
Actually, no, I think that's very powerful, and you're going to motivate me to finally get the test done, because Boyce, I think, may have done it, but I haven't. Maybe because I've been living overseas, or that's the excuse that I've been given, but that shouldn't really stop me. So,
Well, yeah,
uh,
it's
you know,
time. It's time. Well, also, so our company, we don't do the testing. We have an affiliate that does testing. But what we do is we take it to the next step. We're able to identify your ancestral village. We're able to show you what your name means. So, for instance, who is Watkins?
mhm.
I'm asking you,
Not
who's
a
Watkins?
well, yeah. Oh well, that's not definitely not an African name.
Yeah, yeah, it's not. But we'll go deep and show you who Watkins is. Where did that name come from? whose name was before it. Those things can be figured out.
Got you, got you. Well, that actually, I want to go deeper into that in terms of, I guess, your business model. So looking at Elevation Allah, his comments in chat, and he raises, I guess, a point that I just want to ask you flat out. He says, what good? I'm sorry. Oh, the basketball player probably invested in a DNA testing company, or he is the marketing face of it. What would you say to, I guess, to that in terms of the way your company's structured and what I guess you've talked about what you are wanting to accomplish, but just the structure of your company, who's doing the testing, or if you're able to say, like, what does that actually look like with Sankofa?
Well, like I said, we don't do DNA testing. What we do is we help you finish your genealogy charts. We help you locate your ancestral village. We show you how to compile compile all your proof, so you have evidence to back it up. So if you say, well, such and such was alive, 200, 300 years ago, we're able to prove that, and we're also able to give you the most cost-effective ways when you go to the continent, how to not blow all your money, how to get exactly all the information that your family doesn't have. So we're able to do a variety of things, and we have a lot of classes coming up next month as well as in November to help people break down each segment step by step, how to go from point A to Z and everything in between.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting model in terms of what you're doing, because I think about companies out here like African Ancestry with Gina Page. So shout out to Gina. We love you over here at the Black
What's
Business
up,
School.
Gina?
And yeah, and who are doing that testing, right? But I find it is still being very interesting, in terms of helping to fill in those gaps, because you can know that your family's from Mali, or know that you're part of X, Y, and Z tribe or whatever, that type of thing. But unless you know that story and what that actually means, you've gotten closer to the end result in terms of knowing your roots and knowing your history, but you're not all the way there yet. So it seems like your company is helping to, I guess, fill in those gaps a little bit more.
Well, a lot more. See, DNA testing is a part of genealogy, but it's not genealogy. It's a percentage. So we're handling the whole percent. We're handling the whole equation of genealogy. So if you come to me with your DNA results, we're able to show you. We're able to take part of that information and then show you where your actual family tribe is from, and then you can go there and visit there, and you can figure out a lot more. So, for instance, my ancestors are from Kai Mali. My ancestors were taken from Kai Mali by the French in 1856, 1865, and 1866 on 3 separate occasions. There were 4 of them taken. 2 of them last names were Keita. Okay, and Keita is the original Malian name from Sunjata Keita, who was the Lion King who ended slavery in West Africa and created the first constitution called the Kirikan Fuga. Those 4 were extracted from Kai Mali and taken to St. Louis, Senegal. And then from St. Louis, Senegal, they were shipped to Havana, Cuba. Several of them were sent to New Orleans, and the others were sent to Galveston, Texas. And then somehow or another, they all ended up in West Helena, Arkansas. So these are some of the things you'll be able to figure out about your own family. And then with the time frames and things, we're able to piece together what exactly was going on with them. And it's a myriad of things that we'll figure out about your own particular family. But what it does is it eliminates a lot of the false things that we've been taught in a broad sense in the classrooms. And what it does is it gives you your whole entire self back. What you'll find out is some of your ancestors were not slaves at all. They came over as free people, and they were never slaves. You'll find out that some of them might have been Native American. You'll find out a lot of different things, and then you'll be able to apply this knowledge, to different things that will benefit you today.
Yeah, I think that's awesome in terms of us knowing our cultural story, our cultural history. One of the big projects that I've been working on for 2020 is I call it, I guess, the Black Power Project or Black History. I've been going really deep into Black history, so I created this like 2,600 link YouTube playlist. Like it has 2,600 videos on it, of just talking about all the issues in the Black community, from now until like, for hundreds of years, that type of thing. Looked at different time periods and all and just like looked at it from many, many different angles. It gets a lot harder to do that, I'm finding, even on YouTube, when you start going before 1619 and you're just trying to find, I guess, that, that genealogical roots that you're talking about as well. So can you talk about that in terms of how you go about your research and finding this information, this history, and applying that to Sankofa?
Well, we have a great network in the Americas as well as on the continent. It's a lot of different research. I can't give away too much without giving away our whole our whole deal. I would advise you to go to our classes, and our classes would teach you a lot and show you how to do these things yourself. But there's a large portion of research that you can find online, but there's also a large portion that you have to find out and get your hands dirty and really go out and travel and meet people. And we will teach you how to do all of these things. A lot of people travel to different places in Africa, and they don't figure out anything. They just go to the local slave dungeon, and your ancestors might have never been there. But we're able to pinpoint exactly where your ancestors were from, what year they were either taken, or the time frame in which they were taken, and you're able to piece together these things. So when you go over there, we'll be able to direct you in the right direction, so you can get your family story back.
One of those companies, I can't remember, it's 23andMe, or what are the other big DNA testing companies that are out there?
Yeah, you
Uh,
have 23andMe. You have, of course, African Ancestry. You have Ancestry.
yeah, I think it was
Family.
Ancestry. There you go. I think it was that. They sold for like $4 or $5 billion in the last month or
Yeah,
two, right?
yeah, they came
Um,
up.
yeah, what are your thoughts about that in regards to, I guess, the energy from a financial standpoint? And do you think that the industry, yeah, what do you think about the industry as a whole? I guess that's the question. So what do you think about, I guess, that sale in terms of them coming up, making, $4 or $5 billion off of the sale, and then the direction of the industry in its current state as well?
Well, at the end of the day, it's a company like anything else, and they're in it to make ends meet and to create jobs for other people. So, I can't knock anyone for making a dollar, um, as long as they have great integrity and they're doing right by people's DNA. Then there shouldn't be any issue. And I would advise anyone who takes DNA testing, no matter with any company that you choose, to read the fine print and see what they do with your DNA once your testing is over, because that's your highest form of identification. But what was your second question? Can you ask that one again?
Yeah, just the current state and the future state of, I guess, the industry. Like, where do you actually see the industry going?
Oh, well, it really just depends. A lot of it depends on the consciousness of the people. So when I mention genealogy to people, the only thing they think is DNA. They have no idea that you can find out, where your ancestors are actually located. They have no idea you can find out the years and the time frames in which they left and when they arrived, and what kind of businesses they were into, or what kind of trials and tribulations they had. What are their great accomplishments? A lot of people don't understand that those things can be figured out now, and that's what we do. That's where we come in.
Gotcha. Yeah, so everyone, I'm here with Drake Reed. Drake is the president of Sankofa Global Exchange, a genealogy company for people of African descent who are affected by the transatlantic slave trade. You can find out more about his company at sankofaglobalexchange.com. That's sankofaglobalexchange.com. So he's the one who fills in the gaps. You may get your testing from, African ancestry. So let's go ahead and just shout out Gina Page, that type of thing. But he'll come in with his company to help fill in some of those gaps in terms of the history, so you can actually go, much deeper into your roots and where your people actually hail from. So if you like this interview, please go ahead and press the thumbs up button. Please make sure that you share this video and subscribe to the Black Financial channel if you'd like to receive more financial content like the content that we're producing here with Drake. So Drake, I see a lot of questions in here. And I just want to get through some of them. So Elevation Allah has something or has quite a bit to say regarding I guess the industry in general, and he has a little bit of skepticism just regarding the industry. So I want to take just a few of these different questions if you're up for it.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
All right, let's see
That's not
here.
surprising. Most people are skeptical about about it.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the skepticism. So first, in regards to, I think this is interesting in regards to the accuracy of that information. right, or the accuracy of like DNA testing.
Hmm.
Some have proposed that this is really just a psychological void that's being filled, for Black folk, but not just Black folk, because I doubt that 23andMe, most of the customers are going to be Black or whatever, or Ancestry.com. But it's like you're just giving someone a story that might not actually be true in terms of where their people are from. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, what I would say is, first of all, there's no person on the planet that doesn't want to know their history. It doesn't matter if you're Asian, European, Latin, whatever. Everyone wants to know their family history. And a lot of people have been deprived of their history. We weren't the only ones that had to move, so some people just lose contact with their family. So there were other wars and things that happened. So that's everyone has a family history that's littered with some trials and tribulations. But the second thing I would say is, if you're skeptical, then put it to the test. Come join our program, and we'll show you if it's real or not. Because when I got my results back and I got my percentages and I finished my genealogy chart, it was very accurate. I can see exactly how many people I have sub-Saharan ancestry. I can see exactly where the Native American ancestry is and the European ancestry, all from laying it out on both sides of the family. So I'm happy with my results, and I know which companies do a great job, and our affiliate is African ancestry, and they were very accurate.
All right. Some people or I guess if we're just thinking about, I guess, skepticism, they're wondering or nervous about what happens to that DNA data once they actually take the test, right? So you have a lot going on with, biology, CRISPR technology, and just like the organization of data and the analysis of data on a massive level. And then you add, if you go, I guess, straight conspiracy, but just because it's conspiracy doesn't mean it's not true.
Mhm.
You think about what's going on with COVID, and can someone genetically engineer, a disease based off of like DNA data, or would that be possible in the next, 30 or 40 years or 20 years? I don't know exactly. But what are your thoughts in regards to, I guess, how secure are these companies keeping your data in terms of like who you are, or even on the small scale in terms of like your medical concerns, your medical history, that type of thing?
Well,
So, what do you think about that in terms of the industry?
Well, as far as DNA goes, like I said, you need to read the fine print for every company. One of the reasons that I chose to use African ancestry for a portion of my testing is that actually was in their fine print, is that they don't do anything, they destroy your DNA when it's done. Whether people you don't know what someone will do with your DNA when it's done. So if they don't have that as a rule, then the possibility is out there, and anything is possible. You don't know what a scientist can pull off, because majority of us are not scientists. But I would say that before you take any DNA test, with any company, whether that's for ancestry or whether that's for to find out if a child is yours or something like that, that you need to read the fine print, because that's your highest form of identification, and people can use that to help or harm you.
Another question in here has to do, I guess, more of like reparations, and um, I guess my question is, do you think that, I guess, this history that we're talking about has any place in terms of, I guess, the reparation discussion that's happening in the United States right now?
Um, well, the reparations conversation is actually, from what I've been informed of as of late, is going on, amongst folks of African descent all over in Europe. It's being talked about in the Caribbean, as well as in America. But is there a place for it? I think it's just more proof. At the end of the day, I'm not sure which groups are pushing which agendas, as far as how we would structure something like that, something like reparations. But I'm sure that it will play its part.
How much does this cost to use your service?
Each class is $249.99. Okay, we have classes every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We also have a full genealogy service, which is a little bit pricier, but it will do the whole job for you, and you will be rest assured you will have the best and most thorough job done of knowing your family ancestry prior to slavery, and everything that happened during the Atlantic slave trade. everything that happened through Jim Crow up to modern day. We will be covering all of those aspects, and you'll be finding, lots of ancestors that you didn't know about, and a lot of people, a lot of the stories will come to light. But we have that as well as how-to videos. A lot of people don't know how to do a lot of things. For instance, if you're an orphan, a lot of people don't know how to start their genealogy process or even know if it's possible. There's a lot of people with just one biological parent in their life and they don't know the other one. We also have how-to videos about how to start your genealogy with that as well. So, I would say just give us an email, info@sankofaglobalexchange.com, and let us know where you're at, and we'll let you know how to proceed.
You said it's interesting. So I heard three different things. I heard you have class every Sunday, so a class every week where people can go and learn how to do the research themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah. So if
All right.
you're a non-believer, if you don't think that it's true, then you can compile your own proof and then you can tell me if it's real or not.
All right, perfect. Number two then is you have a full stack service, I guess, a full-on service to do the work for someone else in terms of finding their family history, that type of thing.
Right.
Um,
So
and
if
then the
you're
third
so if you're
thing,
Lawrence Watkins and you don't have the time, you're running this company and that company, and you just like, hey, get it done. We'll you can utilize our team and we'll get the whole thing done and present it to you, and you'll be like, wow, you'll have a book of your family history.
and the third piece is a how-to video. So you have how-to videos for people who may want to do, how to create your family tree or how to do X, Y, and Z
Yep.
as well. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So what's next then? So we talked about what you currently have. What is your vision for the future as it relates to Sankofa?
Well, our vision is basically, man, it's time for everyone to basically step up and find their family story. We talk about different issues and things every year. We're talking about ancestors everywhere I go now. People are talking about ancestors. They're open to it. Well, now we can show you where your ancestors are from, like real talk. Their hometown, where they laid feet at. We can show you which years they arrived in the states, what years they were taken, and things like that. And some of them were not even taken. Some of them came on their own merit. Like I have some Moors in my ancestry that came over here as free, as free people.
Mm.
So you will find so many things that will end the discussion of what happened to your people, and you won't cling on to other folks' stories, and you'll be able to work on your future from that. You won't cling on to other people's movements. You'll cling on to your family first, and literally because you'll know your family information.
All right, and Carmelita wants to know, are we able to gift a course to others?
Yeah. If you want to purchase a course for a family member or a friend, sure. Just email us and let us know, and they'll just have to fill out the forms on the website. Go on to the class link, and you can find the forms there, and you can choose which class or classes that you want to participate in, or you want to have someone else participate in, and the instructions are on there. We can go from there.
All right, so you mentioned your email address. So what are all the ways that people can get in touch with you and your company?
Well, you can email us, like I said, at info@sankofaglobalexchange.com. You can also give us a message on our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages at The Ancestors Way. So The Ancestors Way is our social media platforms.
All right, perfect. So to end our interviews, we've been doing something. We've been calling it Rapid Fire 5. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but we've been asking 5 questions to end our interview with our guests. So these are 5 rapid fire questions, and please answer to the best of your ability.
Okay.
All right, number 1, what is your favorite business book of all time?
Oh man, I don't have a favorite business book.
Okay, well, what is your favorite book of all time then?
My favorite book of all time is the 48 Laws of Power.
The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Okay, that's a good one. Number 2, are there any CEOs or I guess companies that you're following right now so that you can emulate as you build Sankofa Global Exchange?
Well, I watch a lot of different people, I would say, but I'm still authentic to our values, but I do watch a lot of different people and apply the things that fit.
Number 3, who is your favorite historical figure from Black history?
I actually have two. One is Sanjata Keita, the Lion King from of Mali, who liberated all of Western Mali, and his empire was able to conquer all of Western Africa, all of West Africa, parts of Brazil, parts of Northern South America, and parts of the Caribbean. He wrote the first constitution in West Africa, West Africa called the Kirkan Fuga. And then that's my second favorite is Oduduwa. He was the first Oni of the Yoruba people in Nigeria.
Okay, got you. Number four. Those are two original choices. I've never heard either one. So you
Well,
give
hey,
me
this is
some.
what happens when you look into your ancestors.
Yeah. That's right. Number four. How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
Around 7 or 8.
7 or 8. That's good.
Yeah.
So you get a full night's sleep as an entrepreneur. Number five. This is the last question. So how old are you now?
I'm 33.
So you're 33. So if you can go back 13 years, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
I would say read the 48 laws of power, and there's two things, and understand there's two things that run this game: politics and politics.
Politics and politics. All right. Excellent, man. So Drake, thank you so much for your time. Please reach out and support this brother at Sankofa Global Exchange. That's sankofaglobalexchange.com. We've been talking with Drake Reed. Drake is the president of Sankofa Global Exchange, a genealogy company for people of African descent who are affected by the transatlantic slave trade. If you guys like what you heard from Drake, please shout him out and press the thumbs up button. Please make sure that you share the video and subscribe to the Black Financial Channel if you would like to receive more financial content like the content that we produce here today with Drake. So on behalf of Drake Reed, my name is Lawrence Watkins. You all take care, be blessed, and have a wonderful day. All right, bye-bye.
Peace.